with Yoga-Mojo, and I've been asked to share my knowledge of Chaturanga Danda. And Chaturanga Dandasana is a four-limb staff pose that requires some tricep strength, some core strength, leg strength. It is a full strength pose. Anytime you move from plank and you lower, plank pose is a fiery pose. It's a lot of agni. So I'm going to share with you some ideas and suggestions that you might find helpful when you are practicing and moving into Chaturanga. When done incorrectly, it is said it's often called a shoulder shredder because this humerus bone kind of comes up and it kind of crunches into that space. We want to try to keep as much space open as we can. The awareness of the elbow over the wrists when we're in a plank and moving to Chaturanga, something has to shift. And I'll speak through all this as we move it. It is once said that those elbows should be right on top of our wrists. And those elbows can be back a little bit. Again, you're gonna feel the sensation and how it's gonna feel right for you. So I'm gonna give you a lot of tips and a lot of suggestions as we move from plank into the pose of Chaturanga Dandasana. So let's first begin in plank. We can take Chaturanga Dandasana from plank with the legs straight and strong. So the toes curl under and we lift those knees. The sensation of pulling everything into the midline. We can pull the thumbs in, we can pull the forearms in. We have a little protraction of our shoulders. Rather than a little rhomboidsy, we're kind of taking those shoulders and taking them nice and secure and those forearms come in. An option is to bring those knees to the mat. Anytime you're moving into Chaturanga and you're feeling your belly start to sag, your hips start to sag, I would strongly encourage you to bring your knees to the mat until we get the strength in the arms. The little shift forward, whether it's on the knees or the toes, helps to bring the weight of the torso a little forward. So when we bend, we can feel the awareness of keeping those elbows closer to the body. And we press down into the mat, and that gives a sensation of lifting up. So as we take Chaturanga, I have a couple of blocks. An awareness of what we can do is to place a block so that it'll come under our hips. And for some of us, this might be uncomfortable to have the block here by the chest, but play with it and see where it takes you. As we come back into our plank pose, we're going to lift up and find that length. So the heels are pressing back, the upper thighs are spiraling up, the core is strong, our gaze will come forward. If we bring the gaze down, we tend to collapse down. So I want you to try to keep the gaze forward. Keep the core strong, shift a little bit out of the toes, and then allow yourself to bend. And your hips can take that space. And you've got this nice awareness of the elbow and the wrist. Then that sensation of inner palms, outer palms, press them out away. And then come on back. So let's take it from the full plank pose. I'll move these blocks aside. We have the fingers spread wide. I like to have the fingers turned out slightly, wrist creases parallel. But then again, feel where the shift is. If your fingers are turning in, there's more of this and there's more crunch. So that awareness of saying, okay, maybe the index fingers being more parallel is more comfortable for me. As you're taking your breath, take those hands, press down, press into the mat with those hands, toes curled under, take a breath, inhale. Notice the little shift forward, a little pulling in of the forearms, upper arms, a little bend of the elbows so the shoulders don't go beneath the elbows. We press down, lift up, and we can set the knees back down. So Chaturanga Danda is an awesome strength building, but it's also, particularly when you're moving with a lot of flows, one that leads into the pose of an upward facing dog. So let's go through that sequence. We place the hands shoulder width, maybe just a little wider. Feet hip width, knees hip width. We'll curl the toes under. Lift up, take that breath, shift forward, hug it a little bit. Take it here, not so far down. Rock your heart up, press down, take the pose of upward facing dog. Curl your toes under, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Shavasana. We'll take it one more time. Now from our Adho Mukha Shavasana, our downward facing dog. We inhale, come forward plank. A little further, hug it in. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, open up to up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. I hope this has been helpful. Hopefully lots of little tips that might work for you. Thanks for watching.